All right, Shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakar. We give honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity of the men and the women who follow. This is the brother Kratazah from the GMS Nebraska camp coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This lesson being entitled Jake was considered mentally ill for running away from slavery. All right, I just came across this term called drapetomania. All right, so let me just pull this over real quick. Drapetomania, all right, which is a pseudo-scientific term used in the 19th century to describe a supposed mental illness that caused enslaved, what it says, African Americans to run away from their owners. So basically, Jake had a something was wrong with Jake mentally to make them want to run away from slavery. All right, and I just got you know, I got these two pictures up because I just wanted to, give a like a visual to it. You know, um, you know, by now you should have seen Django. If you ain't seen Django, after this video, you need to go watch Django. But you have two different slaves here. Or you had Django, who was, in the fields, being beat, being whipped, had his wife taken from him, so on and so forth, who became a free man, who, was fighting at the end of the day. All right, and then you have Stephen, right, who loved Miss Candy, who loved the white man, who, was, the ideal slave, who would never run away, who loved Mr. Candy's father, and he loved Mr. Candy just as much as more than life itself, you know. And going back to the video I did yesterday, this is what I'm talking about. This is that the Stockholm syndrome, that love for your oppressors. All right, but apparently Jake was mentally ill for wanting to run away. All right, so let's give a little back history about it. Um, the term was coined in 1851 by Samuel A. Cartwright, a physician from Louisiana. He claimed that drapetomania was caused by a defect of the intellect. So we had something wrong with our mind. Let's get that word intellect in the etymology. Intellect is the sum of the cognitive facilities, except sense or sense of imagination, the capacity for reasoning truth, right? So the sum of your cognitive facilities. So you actually being able to think. There was something wrong with the way we were actually able to cognate and think. Let's just get a regular definition for intellect. The faculty of reasoning and understanding objectively, especially with regards to abstract or academic matters. The man was more action rather than intellect. What is the exact meaning of intellect? The power or facility of which the mind, of which the mind by which one knows or understands as distinguished from that by which one's feel and that by which one wills. The understanding, the faculty of thinking and acquiring knowledge. So we had basically said that we have a defect in just understanding life. So it should have been crystal clear to us that running away wasn't an option. You have to be fucking mentally ill to want to run away from being beaten every fucking day, to having to work up from sun up to sundown with the worst of the worst foods to eat, the worst of the worst conditions. All right, having your sister, your mom, your wife, your daughter being raped on the daily. Someone being picked up by the housemaster. Just the fucking plorable conditions. But we're supposed to be mentally ill for wanting to be Django in this situation, for wanting to be a free man, for wanting to uh, so-called emancipate ourselves. All right, that's just Let me see. Hold on. Give me one moment. All right, we back. Here we go. This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 18. It says, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." So the so-called white man was so proud that he said that we must have something wrong in our mind to make us want to get away from that beautiful institution called slavery. Nigga, get the fuck out of here. All right. It says he claimed that drapetomania was caused by a defect of the intellect that made slaves believe that they were free. Since Cartwright believes that slaves who ran away were not actually mentally ill, but were being influenced by abolitionists and other designing persons. So if there was nobody else that was free, they wouldn't even want to be free. But I can clearly see white folk walking around free. Nigga, I know that I'm not supposed to be, beat like this. I know that, I'm not supposed to have to live like this. This isn't life. Historically, let's go to historically. Okay? Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people above unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So not only are we a holy people and a special people to the Lord, we are the chosen people to the Lord. Yeah, and what did you do? You beat the mess out of us. Okay, let's see if we can get some images of that. Yeah, this is what you did to us. But we supposed to be crazy. We supposed to be crazy for this. Mentally ill. Families split up. Beat. Hung. Slavery was even worse than we thought. Let's see what that's talking about. Um, the usual story goes that slavery was banned by the British in 1833 after a long campaign led by moral reformer William Wilberforce. What made it all the more remarkable was that capturing slaves in Africa, transporting them to the Caribbean, and cruelly forcing them to work on sugar plantations was an enormously profitable business. It was wrote the historian Simon uh, Sha, Sha, Shyama a Klondike of money. A Klondike of money. The thing is that for many decades now, many, perhaps most historians who have studied this evil episode have come to the conclusion that the reality was entirely different. It was worse. So, whatever you think slavery was, whatever picture you have in your mind, it was worse than that. The enslavement of so called African people, I'll say Israelites, was every bit as mind numbing brutal as we had always thought, but the British did not ban it for moral reasons. They only finished with it because it wasn't making a profit anymore. 1 in 6 of the enslaved died between Africa and the British Caribbean islands. Many more died within a year of arriving. Of all those who arrived, 1 in 25 died each year. That was more than were being born, and far more than were surviving their first year of life. British slave owners were treating their enslaved work people so badly that they had no option but to keep on importing new ones. They had to keep getting the new people because they were treating Jake so fucking terribly. And it turns out, before we get that, let's get this Zechariah. Zechariah 1:15 says, "I am sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease." Sorry, the Most High is saying that he's. Oh, hold on, let's read it, and then we'll break it down. It says, "I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction." So I want to get this in the NOT because it gives you the full connotation of what the Lord is trying to convey here. It says, Zechariah 1:15, "But I am very angry with the nations that are now enjoying peace and security. I was only a little angry with my people, but the nations afflicted harm on them far beyond my intentions." So it was our fault that we went into slavery. All right, let's go back and get Deuteronomy 28:68. It says, "And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt," which is America, again with ships. Slavery again in America with ships. We were on those ships. We just spoke about over here how the British were bringing us from West Africa to the Caribbean islands, right? How did they do it? In ships. It says, "By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you should be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Nobody's going to come and save us. All right. That's why Jake had to run, because there was nobody was coming to emancipate us, to save us from that slavery. We had to go through that as a people, as a punishment for what we did and what we deserved. But as the scripture says in Zechariah, going back to the NOT, in the middle it says, "But the nations inflicted harm on them far beyond my intentions." Right? They overdid it. Going back to the article, it says, um, British slave owners were treating their enslaved work people so badly that they had no option but to keep importing new ones. And it turns out, as we shall see, to be the key to the collapse of the whole system. The only the only thing British kids need to know about the slave trade is that we ended it. Get the fuck out of here. They're still trying to cover up for all the terrible things that they've done in history. All right. The so-called white man don't want you to know that he's the worst person in the fucking world. All right. And that he had the children of Israel, the people of the Most High, in fucking slavery. If it's just niggas, who cares about niggas, right? But hey, but once you realize who did dirty, that's when it's gonna really stick out to you. All right. And let's keep reading. It says Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, publicity guru Bernard Ingram, once announced that the only thing British kids need to know about the slave trade is that we ended it. Anyway, Mr. Ingham, you're wrong. The Danish banned the slave trade in 1792, 15 years before the British, and it had been banned in one after another of the northern states of America, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and others in 1763 and 1804. And the slave trade had been completely banned in the new United States in 1787, though the Congress left a period of 21 years until the ban will come into effect. But of course, the pompous English politicians, right? That pride, there we go again. Not to speak of school textbooks, have for generations been puffing up the British because they supposedly banned the slave trade in a great outburst of public breastbeating and saintly morality. They banned it even though we were told it was against their economic interests. Bull the fuck shit. Bullshit. 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 Let me get a drink real quick, Baba Bashar. All right. It says, the British have always loved the story that their empire was not only bigger than everybody. The fuck is this? Not only bigger than everybody else's, but also better. The enslavement of millions of Africans is therefore, as you can imagine, a bit of an embarrassment. So the Brits square the circle by loudly proclaiming that while everyone else enslaved people, which wasn't true, the Brits were the first to ban it, which wasn't true either. The so-called white man is a fucking liar. You can't. That's why you can't trust him as far as you can throw him. Um, one second, one second. All right, this is John chapter 8 and 44. It says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and of the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning." Speaking of Cain, okay, and now this was originally, said and meant for Jake, because Jake can be a wicked ass people as well. But now the shoe fits perfectly for Esau. Says, you're your father the devil, which they are. Okay, they're the physical counterparts to the spiritual demon Satan. All right, it says, and the lust of your fathers ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him, and there's no truth in these white folk. Okay, you like I said, you can't trust them as far as you can throw them. And when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh it of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. You know, I can go on and on about that, but let's move forward. It says, all right, the Brits were the first to ban it, which wasn't true either, and that they banned it for high moral reasons, even though they were making a stack of money out of it. But then in 1938, a young Trinidadian historian at Oxford submitted his doctoral thesis. It was about the ending of enslavement, contradicting the establishment historians Williams' thesis, argued about uh, abolition abolition of slavery. Had it's like the abolition of slavery had very little to do with an unselfish or moral campaign by Wilberforce or the Commonweal, the state, or anyone else. What Williams argued was that the reason for the attack on slavery was not only that the West Indian economic system was vicious, but that it was also so unprofitable that for this reason alone, its destruction was inevitable. So the only reason they kept or they stopped going back and getting more Jake was because the money started drying up, so to speak. What the young Eric Williams was fundamentally saying was that slavery had been ended primarily and not cynically, not for moral reasons, but because it wasn't making money anymore. Well, Williams got his doctorate despite the fact that he was contradicting all the. Who cares about that? Um, yeah, I think this is good. I'll go ahead and I'll leave this in the description. But let's get back to the article. Damn, did I lose the article? Bear with me. There we go. Um, Symptoms. Okay, so let's just pull this back up. So, symptoms. Cartwright claimed that the symptoms of drapetomania included an uncontrollable desire to run away. Well, I wonder why. laziness and disrespect for authority. So now we lazy and we disrespect authority, and we have an uncontrollable desire to run away because we've been beaten all fucking day in the fucking sun all day, hungry, underfed, overworked, mentally fucking terrorized, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, just fucking broken, man, as a people. But we're crazy for for feeling the uncontrollable desire to run away. What was the treatment? Whipping. Yeah, when when they get like that, you should whip them. They be alright. You should whip them. Just get out and whip them, or isolate them, or force more labor upon them. You know, and this was his pseudoscience, the so-called white man's pseudoscience. So this is First Timothy chapter 6 and verse 20. It says, "O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called." And if I have ever heard of science falsely so called, this is one of them. Fucking drapetomania. You know, this is crazy. This is crazy. Not the fact that, you're being treated like you are 2/5 a fucking person, and you want to run away so that you can just fucking live. You ain't got. Jake didn't even want the finer things in life, like people want now. Big house, big car. Go to fucking vacation 6 weeks a year and all kinds of shit. Jake just wanted 3 square meals a day, a roof over their head. Hell, Jake could take 2 square meals. you know, just didn't want to have to go and have to worry about are they going to take my daughter? Are they going to sell my wife? Are they going to beat me? Am I going to be able to eat tonight? Jake just wanted to survive. But I guess, wanting to survive and to have a decent life is a mental fucking illness to the so called white man. But, yeah, man, I mean, I think that's it to that. Um, Yeah, so I'll go ahead and I'll leave this link along with the article in the description, and that's really all I want to get, man. These white people gonna pay, bro. They gonna fucking pay. All right, the Lord is going. He's got a cake baked for these people. Let's get that, and we're gonna end it on that. Um, Hold on. Yeah, this is Revelation 18:5. It says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities." Let me back it up. Revelation 18:4 it says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, 'Come out of her, my people.'" Right? And that "come out of her, my people" is speaking about America. All right, we're literally gonna be lifted out of America via salvation, and get salvation via the chariots. All right, they're gonna deliver us from this fucking awful place that we've been for the past few hundred years. All right, amongst all the terrible treatment that we've received. It said to come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, because America is going to be fucking burnt to a crisp, for all of the iniquity that it has done to the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let's get that real quick. This is Numbers 33 or something. Number 35 and 33, it says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood defileth the land." All right. There's a lot of blood that has been spilled on these American soil. It says, "And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." So Americans will never be cleansed, all right, until these so-called white people who have enslaved, who have tortured, who have done despicable things to the children of the Most High, until their blood is shed, this land cannot be cleansed, and it's going to be via fire. All right, fire is going to come down from heaven in the form of ICBM nuclear missiles, and it's going to, like I said, burn this place to a crisp and give vindication, or going uh, it's going to give that indignation, all right, that righteous anger, and appease the heavenly Father. All right, going back to Revelation 18:4, it says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities." So the Most High knows, and he remembers, the iniquity of the so-called white people. I'm pointing at this guy right now, because he is uh, I'll say the expression of the so-called white people, even though he himself, this actor, is not was known as he's not an Edomite, I'll say, because Jake do come in all forms, shapes, and sizes. We were scattered to the four corners, and um, we do look like other nations. This guy, Leonardo DiCaprio, who is a Sicilian, he's Jake. This is a Jake. But for this example, he is the expression of a so-called white man. All right, and the Most High has remembered the so-called white man's iniquities. All right, and he's going to punish them for it, and we will be vindicated. All right, so Lord's will, this was edifying, and I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakar. We give double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, all the men and women who follow. Shalom.